Hi friends, I'm Jess and welcome to the Hexed Library, where I post reading, writing, book, and planner related content a couple of times a week. Today we're going to go over my reading journal for 2025. Now, some of you may have caught my incredibly chaotic live stream where we worked through me planning a good bit of this planner together. It was a mess, but you know, it was a time. We were there. If you didn't catch that live stream and you would like to enjoy the chaos or to see how I actually did any of these spreads that we are doing in here, I will link that down below for you. As for materials, there will be some things linked down below. Firstly, most of the planner stickers that I will be using for this are from Planning with Kay. I buy Kay's digital stickers and I print and cut them myself. The markers that I will be using are Ohuhu color markers. I will write the numbers of these down below for you in case you happen to be using this bright sticker set. In this year's planner, I used the standard color scheme that she has of these, and for next year's I will be using the bright set. So as I said, I will mark the markers down below that go with the bright set, and just for funsies I'll go ahead and mark the ones that I have that went with the set as well. So if you are looking to find, in case you have these markers and you don't want to go through the trial and tribulations of finding the ones that match the colors most accurately, I will link those down below for you as well. Or I will put the numbers down below for you. Anything else? I will be mentioning some other creators. Those will all be linked down below. This planner is from Archer and Olive. This is the 8x8 storybook planner. This is a Raja tale. So let's just hop into it. Today is just going to be a flip through of the journal. As I said, we did some work on the journal itself in the live stream, and you are welcome to check that out if you would like to. So as I said, this first page is just my kind of a scrapbooky collage page where I have put in things from some of my favorite books that I read last year. This picture of like a tarot card style that is The Reader. We have a picture of Winn and Elend from Mistborn. This is also Winn and Elend, if you know, you know. We have some of my favorite characters. Manon from the Throne of Glass series, who is one of the 13. This is a quote from the book that says, "We are the 13 from now until darkness claims us." This is the cereal from the ACOTAR series that says Prithian's Gossip Girl drinking a cup of tea. We love her. We have the Night Court from the ACOTAR series. Why are most of my pictures from ACOTAR? Because that's what fan art is of, okay? I looked up fan art for everything that I really enjoyed last year. Most of what I found was ACOTAR, Throne of Glass, and a few things of Mistborn. So that's why that is what I majorly have. Majorly, that's what we're going with. We have a few other quotes here. This is from A Gathering of Shadows by B. Schwab. It says, "Whatever I am, let it be enough." This is from This one is from In Deeper Waters by F.T. Lukens. It says, "Nothing that is part of you could ever be bad." This is from Percy Jackson The Olympians. It says, "The real world is where the monsters are." And this one is from God Killer by Hannah Kaner, and it says, "Fate could get fucked." Love that. I will link the Pinterest board that I have all of these collected on down below as well, just in for case you're interested in those. And the other stickers that are on here, these guys, these ones that are like just filling in space, they are from SLK Artworks. I have a bunch of their stickers. I will link those down below as well if their Etsy shop is still open, because I got these a couple of years ago. So that should be everything we need to link down below, maybe for now. Anyway, first page. First I made a little pocket, mostly just so I would, well, because you know this first page is always a hot mess. And I went ahead and put my star rating stickers in here because that's the only thing these will be used for. I have like actual planner sticker organizer-y things. I use stickers in multiple planners, but these specifically will be in this planner. So I went ahead and put those in here in the pocket. We have our dates. Will I need those? Probs not, but they're pretty and they're here. We have my rating system. How do I rate books? I have this written down as what does each star mean, 1 through 5, and then I also have a bonus. I used to only give a bonus point if a book made me cry, but now I give it a bonus point also if it like makes me laugh out loud, or makes me angry and I throw the book across the room. Any kind of emote, I call it emote now as my bonus, it gets an extra point. And then I have listed out the differences for what I rate YA and adult books versus mid-grade versus comic and graphic novels. They all have different categories. They're not all completely different categories, but they are different categories for them. Each category is scored 1 through 5, and then the bonus, if it gets the bonus, and then those are all added together, divided by the number of categories. And then I have how do the scores relate to ratings. This changed last year. I did a little bit of finagling with my 2 to 3 star ratings. So I did want to write that in here again. Before I didn't really need it written down because it was a very strict set of rules, or a very specific set of rules that were similar all the way through, but it definitely changed last year. So I wanted to make sure that I have record of what I plan to do with that. So that is there. Next, we have my favorite book of 2025. This is a book matrix. These can be called like a decision matrix. There's different things these are called. I got this idea from Jess at Jashi Curran. I will link her down below. A lot of the ideas that I got from this are either from Jess or from Monica, who I will link down below as well. Her Instagram. She doesn't have a YouTube. She has Instagram, but also Jess shows her reading journals on her channel sometimes. It's a thing. Anyway, basically, instead of doing a book bracket for the year and figuring out like what your favorite book is, and you only know your favorite book, this is, you can do as many as you want. I have 25 because it's 2025 and I read a lot of books. So if you read 25 books a year, you probably only need your top 5 books of the year, but because I read about 150, I'm going to have my top 25. Basically, you put your top 25 books for the year in, or however you want to choose which books you're putting in here. I'm going to put the 25 that I rate the highest. You do you, boo. And then I will put those books against each other one by one all the way through. And then we'll find out what my favorite book of 2025 is. I will be doing a video on my book for 2024 here shortly, just as soon as we're at the end of the year and I can do that. So you'll have a better idea of how that works when we get to that. We then have my reading log. I did not use nearly as many of these this year as I put in this year's book, but this year's book is just an 8x5, so it's basically like this. And so there was no decoration. So with the square one, I can have more decor. And because I can have more decor, I did Dutch doors so that I don't have to keep making the decorations. I could just have my little Dutch doors here. So I have a few pages and enough for 168 books, which should be enough for me. If I need to do a tip pen page, I will. And it'll just be a fold over here, basically. But that is my reading log for the year. The only thing I keep track of in here is the title, author, and rating. I do a spreadsheet for all of like the specific statistics and all of those things. I don't keep track of those in my reading journal. That's just too much work for me and too much repeating of data for me personally. I then have a new page for me this year, a 2025 book purchases bookshelves. This shelf is smaller than this shelf because I printed them at 2 separate times, but also I really struggled with this if you were at the live or afterwards. So there was pictures in here in these spots, and they were very pixelated because I just found this off of the internet and printed it out. They were very pixelated. And so I basically put whiteout over them and then put stickers on them. And then I was like, okay, so when I do this one, instead, I just went in and erased in the computer program these and then put clip art over top of it. So it looks much neater here than it does here. But I didn't know it was going to be pixelated when I printed this one out. So if you feel me, you feel me. So what this page will be for is my books that I purchased in 2025, obviously. I've got January written in here, and so what I will do is every book that I purchase in January will go from here on, however many I have, and then I'll write in February, and then however many books I have, and so on and so forth until the end of the year. God forbid I need more than this. If I do, I will do a tip-in page Hopefully I don't need more, but I wanted a shelf that was specifically all of the books up and down so that I didn't have the sideways stacks, because I figured I would confuse myself on what month those went with. So I'll just be writing those in, and then I will color them in probably with a gray marker if I read them or when I read them. Hopefully I read a lot of them. All of them would be great, but we're not holding our breath for that. Okay, next page. Next we have a spot for my DNFs and unhauls. The only change from last year is that I've put in where I can put in my DNF percentage. For some reason I wasn't tracking that last year. I don't know why. This year, last year, this year. You know what I mean. Why is that a thing? I don't know. Anywho, this side is books I've pre-ordered. That's pretty self-explanatory. If I've pre-ordered a book, I'm gonna write it down, and then I will check mark it when it has arrived. This is for my anticipated releases for the year. I have one square for each month, and I will just write in the date and then the book that should be coming out that month. These do change over time throughout the year, but that's basically what this page is for. In a very similarly set up, we have my book clubs and yearly challenges. So each one of these squares will be for a different book club. For instance, my local indie bookstore is the Wheatberry Books. So I'll have one that just says Wheatberry, and then I'll have January through December on here for that. So for instance, there is the Buzzword Challenge by Books and Lala. So one of these will just say Buzzword, and then the buzzwords will be on there. And then there should be enough space for me to write the buzzword and the book I've read for it, but we'll see. That is the basics of that. Some yearly challenges that I do have actual graphics and things for, and those will have their own separate page in here. They may not each have their own giant page. I may just do multiples on a page, but if the creator has made graphics for them, then they will have their own separate page, and it won't be just on these that I have made. I may use all of these, I may not. Who knows? Not me. Let's go ahead. Next, I have book trophies to purchase. This is a new one for me. I have this thing where I read books I don't own, and then I really like the book and I need to buy the book, but I forget which books I own and which ones I don't, because I own a lot of books. So if I read a book that I like, that I don't own, I need to write it in here, and then I can check mark it off when I buy it. That's what this is for. This side is my friend recommendations. Last year I did a 12 books by 12 friends. I have only read 3 of those books this year, so clearly failing at that. So I'm going to transfer over the ones that I didn't read, and then additionally, if I have friends that recommend me books, I will add those in as well. I just try to read through those casually because I clearly failed at reading them as a challenge. I then have my arc tracker. I do have a 2-page arc tracker because I currently have a lot of arcs. I have about 30 of them currently. It's a problem. It's a problem that I am not complaining about having. It just is a problem. I need to read more of them. And because I need to read more of them, I have this guy. This board is the 25 and 25 by Brie at 4 Paws in a Book, and I will link her down below as well. These are the challenges that she gave us. This was given to us as like a fairly standard prompt bingo board. We were also given some ideas of how to make this more difficult for ourselves, and who doesn't love that? And because I was like, you know what would be really fun? I have all of these arcs that I need to read that you can't see right now because they're not on here, but I have a bunch of arcs. So my goal is going to be to read as many of these as possible with arcs. Now I know some of them I won't be able to do with arcs because I'm not going to, like, this bottom one is snake on the cover. I'm not going to request an arc with a snake on the cover just for this square. But if I happen to have one that has a snake on the cover, more power to me. For the most part, I'm going to try to do as much of this as humanly possible with arcs. So I put these 2 pages beside each other. Wha-bam. This one, I haven't decided if I'm just going to write in the title or if I'll print out the cover and put the cover on. You never know with me. It depends on how I'm feeling that day. So I may write them in as the year goes on, and then if I have to like move them around, you know, scratch one out and be like, no, actually I'm going to put that one over here, and then finagle, and then at the end of the year print out the books and whatever like the finalized one was, put the book on there. That may also be what happens. Also, here's your notice. Next year, we will be bringing back the TBR takedown. Do I currently have 140 some odd books on my shelves unread? Possibly. We will be doing a book with every book on my physical unread TBR. Did I say we'll be doing a book? We will be doing a video with every book on my physical unread TBR at some point. Be prepared for that. But we will be doing the TBR takedown again, which is basically just every month, and then how many I have at the start of the month, minus how many I read, minus how many I unhauled, plus how many I hauled. What's my number at the end of the month? Ta-da, ta-da. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Next we have series to finish. There's enough on here for 18 series. I don't plan to finish 18 series next year, but that was how many looked good on the page. So that's what we're going with. I will show you what this will eventually kind of somewhat sort of look like. This is my 2013 reading planner. It will pretty much look like this. There'll just be the name of the series and then however many books are in that series. There'll be squares for those with just the number in it, and then I can mark this off as I go. I don't know which ones I'm going to put in here yet, but that is what will be there. Finally, we have the bingo board from Hell for 2025. This was created by Leanne at Literary Diversions. I will link her down below as well. The bingo board from Hell, she started, I believe, in 2023. We did it in 2024, and then again in 2025. It is on our list of things to do. And you're given a couple of options. You can either do Leanne's board, or you can create your own, and I created my own. And because I was struggling to keep track of them last year, I went ahead and made some pages here where I can keep track of them. So my top square is, this is 25 physical books. What I meant by that is to read them physically with my eyeballs. So I have a spot to put in 25 books that I have read physically, and then 10 library books. This will be books from the library that I actually physically go in and loan from the library, not ones I get from the audio library, because I do that all the time. I have 25 new releases. That'll be 25 books from 2025, 10 rereads, 25 books hauled before 2023. I have about 32 of these left on my shelf, so this will do pretty much a clear out. Now, here's the thing with these books. I don't necessarily know that I'm going to count this for new releases, but for this and the next one, even if I DNF the book, it will be put on this list because my goal is to get them off the shelves. So if I DNF it, it doesn't have to be finished. It just has to be removed from the from my TBR shelves, essentially. Books that I hauled pre-2023, 25 of those either read, DNF'd, or unhauled. And 10 big books, which are books over 500 pages. 25 books hauled from 2023 to 2024. I got a lot of those, but again, that is either read, unhauled, or DNF'd. 10 finished series, so I need to finish 10 series by the end of the year. And then 25 book club reads. And for these, I made a bigger one so I can write what the book is and then also what book club I read it for. And that, my friends, is the end of our setup for the year. Another thing that I did while I was working on this planner was I made some adjustments to my long-term planner. So this was originally my yearly collections and had some different things in it. It has changed over time of everything that's in here. But one thing that I started doing last year was keeping in my, let me just pull out another planner. One thing I started doing last year was I started keeping my favorite author backlists in my yearly collections journal. I made a note of that in here. So now what I have done is I have printed off some tabs from Planning with Kay and put those in on the side. So I have like my Sanderson reading order is in here, Mercedes Lackey for the Valdemar series that I've been reading, Robert Jordan for Wheel of Time, Darcy Coates for her collection, and then I also have one in here for TV series that I've been watching. But basically I've added some tabs to this to just kind of help myself find what I'm looking for in here. Now, I don't know that I would use these tabs in a regular planner, like something that I'm using daily, just because I don't feel like I would need to print them on something sturdier than sticker paper and then you would just kind of have to figure out how to stick them on there. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But for something like this that I don't use all the time, or that I'm specifically looking for things because they're out of order, like in this planner, everything will be in order. Like January will be in January, and then it'll be February, and then March and April, etc., etc. I don't really feel like I need tabs on something like this, but this, because it's specifically out of order chaos, I really like having tabs on this. So that is something else that I did at the beginning of the year just to kind of set myself up for that. So that has been my reading journal for 2025, the setup of, I'm going to try to show you guys more of my reading journal this year. I definitely didn't, or next year I should say. I didn't really show you guys a lot from 2024. I will be doing a flip through of 2024's journal here shortly, so you can have that. I'm hoping to do more planner content in 2025 because I really fell off of it in 2024. I definitely did my planner every month, and I did do planner-y things, but I didn't share a lot of it with you guys. So I do plan to try to do more of that in 2025. If you made it this far in the video, leave a kitty cat emoji down below. I'm sure there's a cat. If there's not, you can leave an animal of your choice, just so that I know that you were here and that you had a good time. That is all I have for today. If you don't want to miss anything I have going on in the future, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below. And until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye!